Hi all, it's Rafi. Playing a game today. 10-5 game against Schlecht is his name. And yeah, should be a fun game. Let's go ahead and he's checking us right now. So let's just see how we want to block this check here. I think I want to block with this bishop for now. And this is interesting. He chooses to actually defend this pawn, which is a really interesting way of doing things. I can't say I've seen this very often. If I play bishop c8, he'll play knight c3, and he's still defending the pawn pretty solidly here, so that's not going to work very well. This is quite interesting for sure. I have to play this very carefully as not to mess things up here. So I'm going to go ahead and develop on the king side naturally and just let him keep this pawn on d5 for now. This pawn is so weak, I don't think it's going anywhere anytime soon. A lot of ways to get it back later with bishop g4. Even if knight here, then I can still grab this pawn. I'll have two pieces attacking it. And while he's doing all this to try to defend the pawn, I'm going to get my pieces developed and yeah, just continue to play that position. Great square for my knight, potentially to d6. But I'd love to get this knight to d6 if I can very quickly. And I don't want to move the same pieces over and over. So I'm going to go ahead and develop. Don't know if that's a good way to develop the knight, honestly, on second thought. Let's go ahead and get this bishop here to naturally keep developing our pieces. We'll get this piece here. Since he moved the bishop twice, it's okay for me to move mine twice as well. So now this knight will come here, and then it's going to go here to hit the bishop and double hit the pawn. He'll probably push this here to just give me a kind of a strange-looking pawn on the d file. Because he's going to lose this pawn, I believe, no matter what, at this point. Thinking about just leaving the bishop on g5 and then just playing this move instead, hitting this bishop. If he takes here, I'll take this guy. Moves bishop b2. I might just trade and then take here, perhaps. It's a possibility. I think overall my pieces are pretty well placed as long as I can grab the pawn on d5 with this knight, because otherwise a4, a5 is definitely an idea. And I've had a game recently where my opponent was successfully able to get those kind of moves in, and it was not a very good position for me, for sure. So he really wants to hold on to d5. I see that. I'm not so sure if I want to give up this so quickly. I might want to just save the bishop for now. This bishop really doesn't have that much good scope either. That's another problem. So it might just be better just to give up the bishop. There's a bishop f5, knight h5, bishop d7. Yeah, this bishop is probably going to be more of a problem than a solution for me at this point, so I'm just going to get rid of this. So he's got 3 pieces defending d5. I have 3 attacking. I need to introduce another attacker into this d5 pawn somehow. I'm thinking maybe queen d7 followed by rook d8 might be one idea. Although he will probably play here and snap this knight off to relieve some pressure off this pawn and try to hold on that way. I just have to keep playing active moves, and hopefully while playing these active moves, I get to also develop my pieces and attack the d5 pawn. So yeah, like I predicted a second ago, he's going to snap this bishop off and or this knight off to relieve the pressure, but this is going to put some pressure on this pawn. So let's go ahead and which rook though is the question. Probably this one because I don't want any kind of weird stuff with this. I'll put this rook here for now. If he takes, I'll get the bishop pair. I'm not the bishop pair. I meant to say like I'll have his bishop pair because he'll have to give one of them up. And I'll continue pressuring on d5 and hopefully get some compensation for the pawn that I'm down right now. Looks like a fairly new player maybe on here, or doesn't play at least other variants that often. Looks like he's played a lot of rapid, but not other categories. He voluntarily gives this one up. So if I take this way, he takes, I take, he takes, I take, he takes, I take. He's getting the e7 at the end of that. Okay, that's the idea. Knight takes, knight takes, knight takes, bishop takes, queen takes, rook takes, bishop takes e7. Rook e8. Okay. Maybe I'll just defend this for right now. After rook e1, maybe king f8 possibly could be an idea to try to hold on to this e7 so I can go after this d5 pawn. So now he snaps this off. Okay, makes sense. Makes sense to do that. Now, do I take with the pawn or do I take with this bishop is the question. If bishop takes f6 and knight e4, bishop back, then he can push this, which launches an attack on f7. But I believe in that position I can play e6. Yeah, I don't want to just take away this pawn because it stops. I mean, these two become really like a pass pawn. So let's go ahead and take with the bishop. He's doing a really good job of holding on to this guy on d5. So definitely playing the position well, I would say. So now a5 and a4 looks a4 and a5 looks kind of an annoying threat to deal with, actually. Yeah. That's what he plays, a4. So I think I have to play a5 here to not let him drive this knight away. But then he gets b5 square for his knight for good. That's the problem. But we have now this target as well we can go after. His knight and bishop are kind of tied down to this pawn for the moment. My plans here is to play queen d6, potentially, and try to double up the rooks maybe here. I really hate that I had to give him the b5 square, but I don't think I had much of a choice. Like, I really can't let him play a5. If my knight has to go back again and come to d6 or something, it's really not going to be that fun. Although, I don't know. These double pawns are... On the hindsight, I actually don't really mind getting my knight to this d6 square and just blockading these two guys and keeping this bishop blocked as well. That's not a bad idea at all, now that I think about it. Now I kind of regret giving him b5 square. This knight is pretty well placed on d6, as a matter of fact. Let's reroute the knight. If he's going to go ahead and trade the knights by playing knight b5 and taking on d6, that's fine for us, because it will, you know, continue putting some pressure. That's interesting. He's going to get his bishop in here. He's going to play knight f6 after here. Knight f6 check is going to come, so that's going to be annoying to deal with, but I think we have to go into this. Oh, that move. Interesting. Yeah, my queen is really running out of squares at this point. Queen has to keep in touch with b7. This is pretty much the only move that I have. But now d6 will come with a threat, but I can take with a knight. But now rook c1 looks really annoying. I don't know. The position is definitely not looking that good for me right now, that's for sure. I gotta keep this pawn here, though, because that opens up two strong pieces if this pawn moves here. So I gotta get something to blockade this pawn. I really shouldn't have played a5. I should have played knight b8 last move when I played a5 instead and gotten this knight to d6. And just realize that these two pawns, even though he has an extra one, it's really not doing anything to my position. And these pawns, this pawn right here is actually hurting him more than it's helping him, because it's keeping these two pieces completely paralyzed. This one from attacking f7, this one from attacking b7, and so on. So once I get the knight to d6, I will feel a lot more comfortable in this position, I believe. So after d6 in this position here, I can just take out the knight with the knight. I think he should have played d6 last move if he was going to go for that idea. Even then, d6 is not a bad move, I think. I think he should probably give the pawn back at this point and try to, I don't know, open up his bishop and queen, but f7 seems well defended with my knight. In that scenario. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens here. We'll see what he goes for. He's calculating something. I think he's calculating, I don't know, maybe rook c1, maybe he's calculating g6, maybe knight e6. He's calculating that, you know, probably. Something to consider. What else? Just looking at the position without going too deep into it, I mean, it seems like rook c1 is probably the way to go here. After which I'm thinking queen b6 might be is what I will play. Ooh. That's quite a surprise. Wow, I definitely did not calculate that one too much. So then check. He'll get my queen back. And I don't have much of a choice. I gotta take back. It's got this check as well if I take here. That was a great move. Definitely a great combination there from him. Yeah, it's not looking good either. Maybe I have to play that. I don't know. This doesn't look good at all. Looks like I am in a lot of trouble in this position. Looks like a lot of trouble. Try to defend the position somehow, but I think it's close to lost at this point in the game. It doesn't look very promising. Also, considering I have 17 seconds to his 4 minutes, it's going to be a tough one. It was a great combination. Great combination, queen f7. Totally missed that. Now knight b7. Yeah, knight b7 is just crushing because he'll just take back on a5 and defend. But I guess now I can take here. Oh, knight. Oh, I see. Knight here is now possible. Oh, yeah, that's tough. Lots of he's plus 5, so it's pretty much lost. I think at this point. There's up a lot of material. A lot of pawns, and he's up the exchange. Very good game from my opponent, for sure. Now knight here might be a strong move, possibly, yeah. Yep. Pawn drops also. Oh, yeah. That's good move also. Yep. Position is resignable, but just seeing if there's any sort of crazy tactics or anything like that, but doesn't seem to be anything really in the position. Just going to be a loss on this one, I think. If these tier 3 pawns weren't here, maybe there's some possible drawing chances here, but with the 3 pawns on the side, on this side of the board, I mean, it's really almost impossible to do anything here. This pawn will fall, actually. He could have played here. Oh, I should have stopped this guy. I have to get to this square, so there's really no way to... Actually, there is. Oh, no, I can't get to that check either. Yep. Very lost. Very much lost. Very much a lost position in the game. Let's go over this one and see what we missed. I think we played the opening completely wrong here. I think bishop d7 early on in the game was a strategic mistake. This is probably all fine. This is also standard. Here, yeah, I think I should have played knight d7 instead of bishop d7. That sort of avoids this idea of him trying to block, and I don't know. Although I don't think bishop d7 is bad necessarily, but it just caused a lot of problem. Yeah, I looked at this move b5 as soon as I played this g6. I was like, that should be the natural way of punishing this bishop, blocking bishop b6, then maybe a5 even comes. I get these queenside pawns rolling, but played this. And yeah, he's got a pretty big advantage at this point, it seems like, because of the extra pawn. Although there are games in the database with this position, interestingly. From strong masters, it looks like. But the opponents were international masters, so... Again, I could have played b5 here. A lot of games from this position, even. So here I decided to give up the bishop, but the only game in the database, that person played bishop f5. Thought about bishop f5, but then this just thought bishop would just get hit over and over. I didn't consider bishop d5. I thought bishop e4. I mean, I considered bringing the bishop back this way, though. That's an interesting move. Takes, you take. Knight comes back, and then you get this pawn. Oh, interesting. That's pretty cool. Didn't consider that for sure. I went ahead and just took. And I'm just simply worse at this point, I think. Yeah. a5, a4 to consider. Interesting. So yeah, I think maybe bringing this rook might have been principally, that's what I wanted to do ideally, because I wanted this rook to be on this open file, but I was kind of worried about f7 being kind of weak during the game. After rook a d8, rook a d1, I think all these moves I played were probably okay from this point, but it's just my position is bad. Okay, so e takes is a little bit better. a5. Yeah, so here I was considering just bringing the knight here, and I think I would be okay in that position, honestly. I think he still gets in knight e4 and stuff like that, but I can just take and still have a pretty decent position. This extra pawn really isn't bothering me much at all. It's actually helping me to keep these pieces closed. So here, I went with knight c8, and then here. So I think bishop g7 here was the big mistake, which led to that combination. Yeah. This was a great sequence that he played here. He played this attack absolutely flawlessly with knight c5 first. And then queen f7. Really just winning. Yeah, I pretty much had to give up the exchange here. Otherwise, Yeah, he played knight c5 to push the queen to c7, then played that sacrifice. That's really interesting. Yeah, very, very good game from my opponent. Very, very good game. Just out of curiosity, I'm just going to see how long he's been on the platform, because a lot of times you'll have computer users, but I don't think he did that, but still. He looks like he's been playing for a long time, only plays Rapid. It looks like he's been over 2,300 in Rapid, so yeah. Cool. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll catch you guys in my next video.